So you're in January. January is the highest enrollment month of the year. What that means is that people are interested in signing up for lessons right now. So, what are you doing to take advantage of that? First off, you should be thinking about your budget. Like, how much are you spending in marketing in general, as as it relates to your entire year? And then allocating January as your biggest spending month. So, in other words, you're spending more this month, more than any other month in the year, because people are interested. They're more interested in signing up now than any other month as a whole. And so, you need to allocate more spending money, more spending budget this month for your school, because you want to take advantage of the fact that you want to get in front of as many people as possible. So that'd be the first thing, is make sure that you're spending or you're allocating a larger amount of your budget to January. The second thing I would say is, if you want to know what works best in your area for getting new students, then look at last year first. Before you start trying all these different marketing strategies, just go back a year ago, and hopefully you tracked where you got your students from, right? Start there, because that's going to be a signal. That's going to tell you. So if you got a lot of students, for example, from a Facebook ad that you had a snowman or something like that because it was a snow day for school, I don't know, whatever, and you just happen to get a lot of students from that, well, that's the signal. That's a something that you should do again this year. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. If something that you did last year worked really well, then just simply do it again. Let's say, for example, Google just really was, you were running Google ads last year and it just crushed it. Do it again. And then do more, like spend more on Google, because likely you're going to get the same results or very similar results that you got last year. So then the next thing I would say is, so once you've got all of that in place, you've got your budget, you've got, the channels that you invested in last year that were working really well, you want to try to be in as many different places as you possibly can. This is what we refer to as multi-channel marketing. It's not one thing that's going to, blow open the doors of your school and bring in all these new students. It's going to be you doing a lot of things, a lot of different things, being in a lot of different places. And so you really want to be strategic about this, be thinking about, okay, where can I realistically be without blowing my budget, without, having all these things going on that I can't control, that I can't manage. And so it's very important to be strategic. And that's why I say, like, first look at what you did last year, start with that, right? Like those things. But once you've got those things in place, I'll give you my top 5 channels in running my music schools. Had 1,000 students. We did really well. The top 5 channels that consistently produced really, really well for me. Number one is Google. Google Ads, Google SEO. I spent heavily on Google, and it consistently produced the best, most consistent and reliable results for my schools. It's scary, especially when you're spending thousands of dollars on Google, or even hundreds. I'm like, depending on what your budget is, but Google should net you the best. It netted me the best result per dollar that I put into it. And it was very reliable and consistent in getting me good results. So Google is number one for me. Number two was actually reactivating former students. So many of you that have heard me talk over the years, I talk about the 3 lists, the 3 marketing lists that we should all be doing because it's the fastest, cheapest, easiest way to get new students. One of those lists is your former student list. And that was my second top marketing channel, second to Google, right? Where you're spending money, you're doing ads. Former students was my second most profitable marketing channel, where I got the most students. So you should be advertising aggressively to that list of students that took lessons with you before, that's no longer taking lessons with you now. Send those people promotions, especially in January. A lot of them will come back and reactivate. Number 3 was active students. So active students. So you have your former students. Number 2. Number 3 is actually my active students. And you might be asking, well, Well, David, that doesn't make sense. They're already taking lessons with you. How did you get students from them? Well, very simple. A lot of those families had siblings. A lot of those families, maybe the student was enjoying themselves so much they wanted to go from 30 minutes to 60 minutes, or maybe they wanted to add another instrument, or maybe a parent wanted to take lessons with their son or daughter. And so it became this thing where it was like we were able to advertise to our active families and get lots of students from them. So give them promotions, give them a reason to upgrade their experience with you, and you will get students. That was the third best marketing channel for me. So active students, that's a real thing. The fourth best channel for me was signage. Now, I'm not talking about online now. We're talking about offline. This is offline marketing. It's just simply signage, just people literally seeing me from the road, my signs either on my building, or I did a lot of like yard sign, like those plastic corrugated yard signs, and I would put them up different places. I oftentimes would do like those feather banners, around the turn-ins of my school locations, and I would just put on those banners. People notice that stuff because you've got people driving by every single day. Sometimes thousands and thousands of cars driving by, depending on how busy your location is. That this is a great way to get new students. This is the fourth best marketing channel that I had to get new students. So you should definitely be utilizing signage, because again, I mean, the nice thing about signage is you put it up one time. It's one cost. You put it up, and then as long as it's up, it's working for you 24/7. So signage was number 4. Number 5 is kind of a little bit of an unusual one. And this doesn't work in all areas. It works in some areas, and it happened to work in one of my 3 locations. So this didn't even work in all of my locations, but it was so effective in my one location that it actually made number 5 on my list. And that is Peach Jar. Peach Jar is an online platform where local schools in your area will sign up for this service where you can send digital flyers directly to the families, and they're a trusted source because it's coming from the school, right? But you pay for the ability to send it through the school district's name directly to the families. And so this is a fantastic investment. Again, it doesn't always work because sometimes the local school district will say it has to be coming from a nonprofit. And if it's a nonprofit, obviously if you're a for-profit business, which most music schools are, then it won't work in your area. So definitely want to check that first before you actually sign up and pay the money to send these flyers through Peach Jar. But worth the investigation of finding out if Peach Jar works in your area. So those were the top 5: Google, former students, active students, signage, outdoor signage, and then Peach Jar. Those are the top 5 channels that netted me the most students. And when I say netted me the most students, I mean, we're talking like January. Pretty much every January we enrolled over 100 students. So if you're not doing that, then I would highly suggest you consider these 5 first, along with the ones that you, like I said, that you had last year that worked really well for you. Those 5 will be very, very effective for you. In terms of what your offer is, it's really important to think about this, right? So like when you are running a promotion, for example, to your former students, which remember, that was my second most effective channel. When you're running promotions to these people, there needs to be some kind of offer, right? And if you're not doing a great job of converting students, then make the offer really good. Just make it better, and so an offer could be anything from 1 free lesson. It could just be a trial lesson, to you could do 2 free lessons. You could do 3 free lessons. You could add different things. So you could stack the offer. And when we say stacking an offer, we're literally saying like, you can have this, you can have this, you can have like all of it. And so there's like a free lesson, there's, a free book bag. If you have tote bags, like book bags, or any merch that you might offer, if you charge a registration fee, which you should, then waive it, right? So there's some value you can just throw onto the stack. What about books? Most students need to buy books. You could offer a book credit, a $10, $20, $25 book credit. What about a free instrument? You could offer an instrument rental, right? So like if you rent guitars or rent any of the instruments like violins or whatever, you could offer the first month free. So they could get a free lesson, a free rental, a free book. Like they're literally, you're putting your best foot forward and really allowing them to try something with, in their minds, hardly any risk, very little risk. The key with an offer is that it has to be connected to a deadline. There needs to be some type of deadline. So like for these former students that are getting your offer in the mail or email or text or however you're sending it to them, which by the way, I would suggest all three of those, together, but it should come with a deadline. So like get all this free stuff. Oh, and by the way, this offer goes away, Monday at 9 p.m. So maybe it's 7 days, maybe it's 5 days, whatever. If you're sending it out in the mail, I definitely would do a minimum of a week just because of mail. You don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but it needs to have some kind of deadline. You could even make the deadline the end of the month, right? As long as you're reminding them of the offer, but it has to have some type of deadline. So create an offer, come up with an offer, make it good, make it compelling. If somebody's sitting there thinking, I wonder if I should try out piano this year, and then they get your offer, it has to be good enough to get them to, you know what, if I'm going to do it, now's a bit good a time as any, because they're offering all this free stuff. So make your offer good, put a deadline on it. Now, here's where most people mess up. This is two parts. Number one, don't just send them one email and think they got it, they're considering it, and they rejected it. Send them the offer in different ways, reminding them that this offer is out there, right? And then send it again. And then send it again. Like the multiple touches is the key. Like when we send out emails to notify somebody of an offer, it should be like a minimum of 5 emails, right? 2 text messages. So like that's a lot of communication, and it probably feels on your end like, man, I'm harassing these people. Yeah, you kind of are. But that's what most companies do. Like when you look at emails, like the emails that you get and the offers that you get, it's like a barrage of all of this communication. And that's part of the reason why it's such a noise. Like there's so much noise, you have to cut through that noise. But in order to even get their attention, you just have to show up more. So most people mess this up because they just simply don't follow up. They don't put enough effort into getting their message through to the prospect. And by the way, this also is the same if somebody, like let's say somebody calls in or they email in because they're wanting to get some information about lessons, and your only response is you call them back, maybe you have a conversation, they say, well, think about it, and you hang up, and that's it, and you wait for them to get back with you. Big mistake. The fortune is in the follow-up. Most people don't sign up not because they're saying no, but just simply because you stopped following up with them. They forgot about you. And so remember that the follow-up is really where you can take your average January and make it a record-breaking January. So it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of work, but if you want to have results like you've never had before, I would highly suggest following some of the strategies that I've suggested in this video.